Started. So we're going to do a call about distraction, which I talked to my elite about last night a little bit. So this might be somewhat of a repeat for them, but a lot of different information as well. So I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's a great month to talk about it. June is a really hard time for most people. It's like a transitional month, and it's a month where like just excuses and a lot of things are going on to the point where like you forget what your name is half the time. So what I want to do is just really focus us back in, pump us up a little bit. I was gone for a week, as you guys know, and I came back feeling like I couldn't unplug, if that makes sense. Do you guys ever feel like that? Where like if you unplug, then you're going to lose everything, and like all your momentum's going to go away. All your leads that you were working on are going to go away. Your coaches are going to fall off track. Like your business is just going to kind of suffer. I felt like that for the first time in a really long time. And I thought to myself, man, what do I have to do to have a team that will work when I'm gone? Right? And like show up instead of kind of disappear. And I realized like, you know, it's so interesting, but I don't think that that's ever really going to go away. You know, I think that that's just part of sort of what this business is. So you learn to kind of accept it. But at the same time, like, I don't really feel like we need to. I feel like, you know, as a team, we can work together. And if everybody can get to a place where the ebb and flow isn't so high all the time or low all the time, and it's just kind of even, like I've sort of learned to do with my business, then that doesn't have to be that way anymore. And you guys can take breaks, and you can balance, and you can unplug for a couple days, and it's okay. And your life's not going to fall apart if you do. So I want this to be a good amp up, feel good call. I want to go over some ways to kind of eliminate distractions in your life and identify some of your own that you have. If you guys have notes or like a piece of paper and a pen, what I want you guys to do right now while I'm talking is maybe write down your top 5 main distractions that you personally deal with on a consistent basis. So if you have a pen and paper, write it down. There is usually like a blaring one that's like in your face that keeps recurring, that comes up often. And I want you guys to think about that specific distraction and that specific excuse that maybe comes up again and again and again, right? As we kind of go through this call. I want us to get to a point, and I want us to understand, I want you guys to understand that every time one coach takes a break, it affects the rest of the team. It's not just, oh, I'm going to unplug for a second. And I feel this in a pretty intense way. If I unplug, then I'm affecting every single one of you. So if I just decided to be like, you know what, I'm bored, I'm unbalanced, I'm unorganized, my schedule is all over the place, I don't want to adult today, I'm just going to like go away for a few weeks or a couple months. Guys, think about like what would happen to the team, right? There's a point where everybody's got to get to a place where the distractions and the excuses are always going to be there, but you can work through them. You can continue to kind of push through them and learn what you need to do to refocus. So there's a point of knowing what your distractions are for you specifically, and then also the flip side of that, what things keep you focused. So for example, a couple things that distracts me, probably the main thing that distracts me, there's a lot of things because I'm like a squirrel and I like see something and I'm all over the place, but I usually can like bring myself back to center. But one of the main things, you guys, that distracts me in a really negative way is other people's excuses. Other people's distractions distract me. Can anybody relate to that, or am I the only one? You know that like Beatles song, am I the only one? That is like number one for me. So when I feel like May and June, I've seen or heard more excuses than I have in 5 years as a coach, it's like freak out time for Jace. So what it told me was, there's lack of balance. There's a lot going on and we need to refocus. The good news is, you guys, is that you can leave all that behind right now. Right this second, instantly gone. Okay, whatever excuse you had, whatever has been distracting you, let it go. If I had the Frozen soundtrack right now, I would turn it on so loud. Let it go. I know you guys have little girls who watch that show over and over and over. But it's true. Like, I want you to have that theme song playing in your mind. And now I'm going to burn this into your brain. So every time you have an excuse or a distraction, you're going to think about the Let It Go theme song from Disney. And it's going to be awesome. But it works. Like, if you really can do little exercises like that, where you know you're kind of getting distracted, you're not working, you're not focused, you're losing sight of what you're here for, right? And you can do it in kind of like a fun way to recenter and bring yourself back and kind of start again, right? Then you always will. So one of the main things for me, if you guys wrote down your list of distractions, one of the main things for me is other coaches' excuses, hands down. But on the flip side of that, one of the things that focuses me the most is when coaches are extremely focused. So I was telling my elite team last night that I've had a lot of coaches that are unfocused, but I've had a couple that have been super focused, like crazy Nazi psycho focused, which has kind of balanced it out a little bit. So I've kind of really dove into those people and hung on to them and helped them. And you guys know Helen went diamond today. Dan went emerald today. There was like a lot of good things going on. And learning how to recognize those things to keep yourself focused in your business is important. So I want you guys to also think of your flip side, like what's distracting me, but what keeps me focused? Because what I've learned is that anything that you hold on to in a negative, that has a negative connotation, cannot sustain you for an extended period of time. So if you're constantly focused on what your distractions are, right, and trying to overcome those, you're going to be in like this little tumultuous ball of fire for a while. And all you're going to be thinking about is all your distractions and all your excuses and all the things that you haven't done. But instead, what I want you guys to focus on is your other list, your focus list, right? So I want you to write your distractions down, and I want you to ball up the piece of paper, and I want you to throw it away. And then I want you to look at your list of things that keep you focused, and that's what I want you to look at. Okay, because that is the positive side of this that's going to get you through all of those excuses and all of those distractions that you're trying to let go. So I wanted to talk about a couple things. You guys all know right now is hard. June, it's weird because they changed Summit, so the flow of our business has changed a little bit. June, this week specifically, is probably one of the lowest weeks that we've ever had as a team. I don't know what's going on. I don't really care. I was like, I wanted to be mad about it, but I'm not, because I feel like life happens and that's just what it is. And so there's nothing that can be done. The week's already been had. So all we can do now is move forward. And I want to focus on the things that kind of cause these distractions in our business. But I want you guys to write that word down on your piece of paper in like big bold letters, distraction. I don't see anyone writing. Everyone write. Even if you don't have a piece of paper, pretend to write it. And then I want you to cross out the first 5 letters. What does that say? I discovered this today and I was like, damn, that is some hot action right there. Because action is the word. You take out the D, the I, the S, the T, the R, and guess what's left? Action, right? There's action and distraction. Yes. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. What causes distraction? There's 3 main things for me. Number 1, external triggers that cause internal reaction, right? How do you fix that? So what I'm talking about here is like your life, everything that's going on, school ending, your classes ending, your work sucking, summer starting, the transition trying to happen with all your kids at home, just the transition into summer, right? The transition into a new season. Those external sort of triggers that force sort of an internal reaction. And usually that internal reaction is like freak out mode. I got way too much going on that I can't plug in and work a business and invite people and help people change their life. I can't even freaking do my own workout right now, right? So that's kind of what happens. And you get into this, I can't. I've got too much going on. And then it's just like this little cycle. Again, that little ball of negativity that's just following you around everywhere. So our goal is to fix that and get rid of it, right? So how do we fix those external triggers that cause that negative internal reaction? Number one, you physically remove yourself from it. How many times have you guys had like and I thought about this for my business, of how I have had to like physically remove myself from situations, whether they're conversations with customers or coaches or group pages that like went wrong or whatever. Just think of like a situation in your life where it was starting to really wear on you, where it was a negative kind of reaction that was being triggered within you that was not allowing you to progress, and where you physically had to remove yourself from that situation, right? Sometimes that's the only way to overcome it. Whatever that distraction is, like sometimes the only way to get over it is to physically remove yourself from that distraction. A really great example of that is if you're like trying to go vegan and your friends are like, hey, come to this new burger joint with me. It's amazing. They have the best burgers. And you're like, okay, I'll go, but I'm not going to eat anything because I'm trying to be a vegan. And then you go there and all you smell is beef. So all you want to eat is beef. And you're like, this is the worst thing in my life, right? Any of you going through the reset right now can 100% feel what I'm trying to throw out there right now. But you physically remove yourself from the restaurant and all of a sudden that temptation is no longer there, right? The smell's not there. The atmosphere is not there. Your friends aren't pressuring you there. Like you can just refocus and recenter. And one thing I love about this team, and I said this to my coaches last night, was one thing that I love about our team specifically is no matter how distracted we get or how squirrely we run around, we almost always come back to center. Most of the coaches on our team don't stray for long, which I love, right? I love that about us. That means there's a lot of heart in this team. There's a lot of people who really want to help people for a living, not just, come and collect a paycheck and plug in and feel good. They want to actually make change and do something good with their life. That's purposeful. So that is one thing that I want you guys to pat yourselves on the back with. And I want us to be able to recenter and regroup and refocus quicker, so that you guys don't lose ground and you don't lose your momentum, because it's hard. Like every single piece of momentum that you build, you got to fight for it. And I don't want you to lose that because you have a bad day or because you don't feel amazing one day because you're having self-doubt or you're fearful or whatever it is. It shouldn't be to the point where you're losing everything that you've built and starting again from ground zero. You don't need to start from ground zero. You were there one time, that's it. That's good enough, right? Just pick up from where you left off and let's keep moving forward. So physically removing yourself from that distraction sometimes is necessary, whatever that is. And I say that all the time. However you can be uninhibited with your business, do it. Whoever you have to let go of, whatever you have to let go of, do it, or this will not work. Okay. Another way to kind of fix these external triggers that cause these internal reactions is to make yourself clear and set expectations. This is something I also talked about last night with my team, which was I suck at that. I'm horrible at setting expectations. You know why? Because I love people to freaking death. I love them to death. And that is not a healthy or productive or progressive way to lead. So you guys need to set expectations of yourself, of your customers, of your coaches, right? And you need to say, this is what I'm willing to do and this is what I'm not willing to do. These are the kind of people that I'm willing to work with and these are the kind of people that I'm not. These are the kind of work ethics that I will allow myself to work with and the ones that I won't. And if people want to come here and steal my joy and steal my time, then no, I'm not going to do one-on-ones with you. I'm not going to spend all my time developing a business for you when you're not willing to put in the work to build it. Okay. There's a lot of you guys that have coaches that give you excuses. Raise your hand if you don't have a coach, unless you don't have a coach yet, that has never given you excuse about anything ever. I don't have one. I can't even say that for myself, right? Not even one. So it's something that's just a natural part of life, but whether you want to deal with it or not is 100% up to you. You can work with the people who give you a bajillion excuses all the time, or you can work with the people who give you a bajillion success stories from all the people they invited and recruited and plugged in every day to help, right? When you look at it in that kind of perspective, it's like, well, I think I'm going to go this way. Like I want you guys to set expectations for yourself. If you're not good at that, this is going to be hard. So what I want you to do is personally develop that skill and learn how to set expectations, learn how to set boundaries. There's this amazing book called The Confidence Gap by Russ Harris that I love. It's kind of I call him a geeky read because I'm like the kind of person that needs to look at pictures when I read books. It's fine. Shut up, Dave. I know you're making fun of me. But it's an awesome book because it's a guide to overcoming fear and self-doubt, which I think, you guys, lead to another thing that causes distraction, which is self-doubt. Those inner sort of thoughts that you can't shake, that are just inbred in you, that are habitual in you, that you're just constantly dwelling on, right? That aren't allowing you to progress. It's that whole, you're your own biggest obstacle, right? For me, that's a legit distraction. When I feel like I'm not doing enough, that can distract me to the point where I don't do anything, right? Sorry, I keep saying right. I say that a lot and it drives me crazy on my videos. So every time I say it, like someone pinched me, so I stopped saying it. It's so annoying. Anyway, okay. So make yourself clear and set those expectations. Okay. Your thoughts of self-doubt are only going to work out if you internally work out. Does that make sense? If you don't do your personal development, your internal struggle is never going to go away. In fact, it's probably going to intensify. The more people that ask for your help, the more people that need you, the more people you bring on, the more responsibility you take on, the less you want to accept it. The less you want to accept your role, the less you feel worthy, the less you feel able to help them. And that will kill your dreams big time. 100%. So that personal development is huge. And, identifying sort of what your biggest demons are and deciding to kind of defy them and change that thought pattern is so important. That's one of the reasons why I became a coach in the first place, because Beachbody helped me overcome that. It helped me overcome that internal struggle where I no longer doubted myself. I was no longer afraid. After being afraid of everything for 20 plus, I don't even know how old I was. How old am I? 27 years, 28 years of my life. I no longer had that. Beachbody took that burden from my life. It wasn't a physical transformation. It was an internal transformation for me. And I reached a place of most potential in my life, meaning I reached a place where I felt like I could do whatever I wanted, and whatever I said I would do, I would do. Do you guys have that kind of like self-trust? If you don't, that's what I encourage you guys to work on first, because if you can overcome those things and internally feel confident, right? It doesn't matter what distraction comes your way. You'll kick it the F out and get to work. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter anymore. So I want you guys to really take that into consideration and really dive into that personal development, because I know a lot of us are not doing it. Number two, the opposite thing of that causes distraction is your inner thoughts triggering your external actions, which I just talked about. So personal development, meditating, working out, taking breaks, balancing. One thing I want you guys to do when you look at that list of distractions that you made is I want you to identify if it's really an excuse and a distraction or if it's a legitimate life event that's happening to you right now. Okay? Divorce, death in the family, having babies. Okay? These are life events that cause a serious kind of adjustment that I don't recommend you just push and work through, right? My brother-in-law took his own life last January, and I wasn't focused on Success Club in that moment. I wasn't focused on rank. I wasn't focused on my business. What I was focused on was grieving and having an internal sort of come to Jesus with what just happened. You know what I mean? Like there are legitimate life happenings, and then there are excuses. And you guys, the best way to really feel good about yourself is to go easy on yourself and figure out what's going on with you and why, right? It all comes down to why. So one of my coaches, Farah, needed a little break the other day. You guys all know Farah. Everyone loves her. I get like 5,000 people asking me to be a success partner a day. But, she was just overwhelmed and feeling like super crazy. And I said, you just had a baby. Your husband just got a new job. Like your life is a little bit cray-cray right now. Take a couple days and unplug completely. And she did. She listened, she balanced, she organized, and she came back stronger, right? Better, more fierce, and now she's fine. So I want you guys to kind of get in tune with what you need, because if what you need is a break and you just keep putting that break off day after day after day, you're going to lose an entire month. And all of a sudden, it's the 23rd of June and you haven't done anything. Instead of taking a break for a day and getting what you needed so that you could fuel forward. Does that make sense? Here's the other thing, my little golden nugget that I was so proud of yesterday. And then when I rewatched my video, I was like, I'm such an idiot. But I created a little saying, and I really believe this, that procrastination and poor time management are a huge problem. They're a huge problem. How many of you guys on your distraction or excuse list have written poor time management, scheduling, balancing, or organization? It's a huge issue, right? It's a huge issue with everybody. And I don't want to dive too much into it, but I want to say that procrastination and poor time management happen when you have goals without plans, right? If you procrastinate, if you have poor time management, you have goals but no plan. So it's just completing the whole circle. It's just having the goals and then having the plan. Okay, so Mike and I'll give you an example. Mike and I in 2014 went to Cancun, to like an all-inclusive resort. And we decided, it was like October or something, we decided on that trip that Mike was going to leave the corporate world and we were going to do coaching full-time, which scared the freaking crap out of me. But that was, October, November, December. So 15 months before that actually happened is when Mike and I put that plan in place. And every single day we worked towards that plan, because there were a lot of steps that had to happen in order for that to happen, right? It wasn't like here's my goal, here's my plan, it's going to happen tomorrow if I stick to the plan, right? I knew that it was a long-term sort of thing, and it was going to be freaking hard, and it was freaking hard. And guess what? Right when we got to a great place with our business and we had this amazing goal and both of us were on the same page and we're like, yes, we're going to do this. Bam! 2 of my coaches decided to quit. 2 of my Star Diamond coaches decided to quit and go to other teams, right? January of 2015, the month we were going to kick off our plan, done. They left. And then my brother-in-law passed away. And then I had Gray, who was born premature and then had medical issues and had to have surgery, right? And then I didn't sleep for 7 months. We bought a house. We sold a house, right? We bought a business that we were going to start. Mike and I were going to do an anytime franchise to kind of diversify and, you know, build a gym here so that we could do events here. And we basically, it was a raw deal. So we lost that investment, right? That was all by June. All of that happened by June. So by June, when Summit came around, I was like, I don't freaking know what I'm doing. What's my name? Who am I? Where am I supposed to go? Like, I didn't know what was going on, but you guys, we had a plan, right? We had a plan and we stuck to it. And regardless of what was going on, I knew what I had to do in order to do what I wanted to do, period. So regardless of whatever excuse or whatever distraction came around, I had my plan. That was my rock. That was my foundation. That's what got me through. My goal in 2015 was what? Does anybody know? Someone's going to write it in the chat. One of my coaches, I know. To survive. That was it. It wasn't to retire Mike. Our plan to retire Mike was in 2016. My goal for last year was to freaking survive. And you know why I did? Because of my habits, because of my plan, because everything that I learned as a coach, the discipline, the personal development, the mastering the basics, guys, hitting Success Club 5 no matter what, and signing up 2 to 3 new coaches a month, that was it. That's all I've ever done, and that's what got me to where I am. So if you ever are like, what has Jace done? What does she do? How did she get to that place? That's it. I hit Success Club, and I sign up 2 to 3 new coaches a month. So I'm bringing in new people to help every single month. That's it. I don't try and go like above and beyond. I don't try and hit Success Club 40. I don't try and sign up like 5,000 coaches a year. That's not me. It's not realistic. I was working as a coach full time in between feeding my kids, my husband traveling 3 days a week. Like, I wasn't a full-time coach for 5 years. This is the first time I've ever been able to work my business as like a full-time coach. But I was able to build a business and help people and impact thousands of people's lives because I stuck to the basics consistently, right? That was it. It wasn't anything more extravagant or crazy than that. So if it feels like that's too simple, then I hope that from this point on, you'll always hit Success Club and always sign up 2 to 3 new coaches, because it really isn't that complicated. I want you guys to really think about that. Poor time management and procrastination happen when you have goals without plans. Make a plan. I've done everything I possibly can to give you that plan. But until you guys really solidify it in your mind and you solidify it in a way that there's no question about it anymore, that it doesn't leave your brain when something else better or bigger comes along, that's when you know you've got it. And you know what your goal is, you know what your plan is, and you just go. Okay? So, couple things I want you guys to ask yourself when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or unbalanced, or like life is just kind of getting in the way of where you think you should be focused. Number one is what I'm doing working to enrich and fulfill my life. Does that mean, am I hitting Success Club? Am I signing coaches up? Am I signing new customers up? Am I doing a challenge? No. It means, is what I'm doing working to enrich and fulfill my life, right? If it's not, make a change. Otherwise, change will never come to you, okay? 2, what am I doing daily to be better than I was yesterday? One thing that I'm really discovering is that if I plug in every single day, it's a success. If I just plug in, if I engage, if I plug in, if I am present with my business, with my family, with my life every single day, then I win. I win the day, right? It doesn't mean I got 1,000 Success Club points that day, or I signed up 10 coaches that day, or I didn't have any failures that day. All it means is that I showed up. That's a win, okay? So focus on very small goals, especially if you are overwhelmed. Start very small, okay? Don't think about Success Club. Don't think about rank. Don't think about income. Don't think about your challenge groups or your customers. Think about, am I awake right now? What am I doing? What's my purpose today? Right? Super simple. And from there, you can build, you can grow, you can progress. Every single day, you can be better than who you were yesterday. It's a lot easier, you guys, to be distracted, right? And chase that skinny rabbit that's not going to be worth the reward when you catch it. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of a weird analogy, but it's true. Like, a lot of people like to stay in that distraction, in that comfort zone, and chase that skinny rabbit, the bare minimum. They do the bare minimum to just keep them right on the edge, but they never go above and they never go below. They just do the bare minimum. So are you doing the bare minimum every single day? Or are you doing less? Are you doing more? Like, base your work ethic on your goals. So if you've got big goals, you better have a big freaking work ethic. I could never have done any of the things that I've done if I was lazy, if I procrastinated, right? If I decided that one day I want to be an astronaut and the other day I want to be a lion tamer. Like, you got to know exactly where you're going and what you want to do. So I wanted to read you guys this quote really quick. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can copy it down if you want to. Hold on one sec. Okay, so here's the quote. When you're doing hard work, getting rejected, failing, working it out, this is a dumb time to make a situational decision about whether it's time for a nap or a day off or a coffee break. Okay, I want you guys to re-say that in your mind. When you're doing hard work, you're getting rejected, you're failing, you're working it out, this is a dumb time to make situational decisions about whether it's time for a nap or a day off or a coffee break. The first 5 years of my solo business, when the struggle seemed never ending, I never missed a day and I never took a nap. I love that quote because it encompasses everything that you're trying to do right now. And if you're that person that's looking for their next coffee break, that's looking for when they can unplug, that's looking for when they want to take a nap, it's going to be a struggle. It just is. This business is not an easy one. Helping other people is not something that you can just do on your own time. That's a hard lesson that I really had to learn. I tried that for a good 3 years to try and help other people on my own terms and my own time and when I wanted to, right? I wasn't willing to go beyond that and help people when they needed the help. I did it when I wanted to do it. And that is not how this works. So learning to sort of accept that is very difficult, but once you do, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to help people. It's so much easier to help yourself. So I want you guys to make it your job today to not get distracted. Your job is to not get distracted. Can't get any more simple than that, right? And when you feel like you are, you need to say to yourself, let it go, right? Let it go. So I don't want to keep you guys too long tonight because I know that it's been a long month. There's a lot of work that we need to do. There's about 30 plus coaches in Team Lift right now that are one Shakeology HD or one challenge pack away from Success Club. Get it freaking done. Just do it. I don't want to have conversations every single week about, that's not even right. I don't want you guys to go away feeling like a failure every time you hear the word Success Club. Like I did. I used to feel like that big time because I didn't get it. I wasn't good at it, right? So I avoided it. I just didn't prioritize it. I didn't make it a priority. I didn't make myself better. I didn't try and fix it. I just stewed on it and was like, well, that's not for me. I guess I'm not going to do it. No, like when I decided to become a Success Club All-Star, I became a Success Club All-Star, period. And I want you guys, again, to reach that place where when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And with Success Club, it's very much a decision. So I want you guys to work to that place where when we talk about Success Club, that's one thing in your mind where you can kind of tune out because you got that. That's what I would love, right? Instead of oh my gosh, this is what I have to do. I got to make a plan. I got to invite more. I'm not doing this. I'm missing this one again and again and again and again and again. Stop missing it, right? If you're sick of missing it, then stop missing it. Make a decision to be that Success Club All-Star. Don't shoot for Success Club 10. Do 5. Focus on those 3 people that you brought in for the rest of the freaking month. Get them boom sauce results, and then ask them to help someone else change their life based on their own experience. Simple. Okay. I built my entire business that way. So if you guys think that just doing those basic things isn't what's going to get you to where you want to go, then I'm telling you right now that it is. I can't tell you in any more ways that I've already told you, right? Success Club 5, 2 to 3 new coaches a month. If you want to be a rock star, Success Club 10, 3 to 5 coaches a month, period, right? I want you guys leaving this call tonight, and I want you to get amped up. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel like whatever excuse or distraction or situation that you've been dealing with up to right this second that's led you to where you are, whether that's where you want to be or not, let it go. From this point on, for the next 6 weeks, as we build up to one of the biggest lifts that we see all year around Summit, I want you to plug in every single day as the best coach you've ever been. The best one. Okay, that's going to be a different definition for every single coach, but I want you to be the best coach that you have ever been. And I want you to show me and show every other coach and team lift that you're doing it, because you guys, every single action that each of us takes affects another person on this team. So look at the screen and look at all the little faces that are looking back at you, and what you do affects that person. It can change their life or it can hurt their life. So make that choice that when you plug in, you engage, you're going to help people, and you're going to do what you signed up to do, which is build a business helping people. Okay? Every single business goal that you guys set, tackle, and conquer helps you help someone else. Every single one. Okay? I hope that this helped you guys feel good. I hope that your procrastination will be eliminated by your kick-ass plans that you're going to put in place. And I hope you take that distraction and you eliminate those first 5 letters and you turn it into some action, so that by this time next week, we will have a completely different kind of conversation. Okay? I love you all. Be good. Have a good rest of the weekend. Work hard. And I will see you guys next week.